Something about new tourist trends and perspectives, and about something about the Jubilee of Mercy. So maybe it could be a good opportunity for a new business, maybe from Holland. Why not? Okay, directly to Rome. So we start with travel and tourism in Italy between the last season and the new high season that is just about to start with the Easter, no? That will be in a few days. So a short focus about Italian tourism and transit perspectives, as already mentioned, and the target group. So what is changing? Okay, about people visiting Rome and Italy in general, and the most important tourism product of Italy, that is Rome, is my city. I really love Rome, so we focus on Rome. And Rome in particular is involved in the Jubilee Year of Mercy that started last December the 8th with the opening of the beautiful Holy Door in St. Peter's Basilica, and then followed by the other papal basilicas in town. And last but not the least, maybe I could suggest you just a couple of suggestions, about business opportunities in the growing tourism industry in Rome. Just repeat, maybe from Holland too. And so let me tell you that the Mediterranean is the world's top tourist destination with 30% of the world market and some 200 million foreign visitors a year. It has been estimated that expected arrivals by 2020 will be 346 millions, a lot of people, and 46% of them are from the emerging economies. Think about India or China, Brazil, maybe South America too. Rome is really appreciated by visitors from South America because of the Pope that is from Argentina. So we had a growth in this last year. And in particular, as you could see, the arrivals, they increased from 2010 to last season in 2015. We arrived up to 49 million people visiting. Visiting Italy is a lot, really a lot of people. And what is very interesting of this little scheme is the average stay. If you see, is around 3 days, 3 days and a half, more or less. This is a short stay, so maybe one of the thing that is our project that could be maybe a little bit challenging is to change this, okay, so that people could stay longer and appreciate more than only the Colosseum and the Vatican museums, because Rome is full of hidden gems, beautiful churches and underground road. But I'm going to tell you a little bit more about this in the other slides. And how much they spend when in Italy? A lot of money, in particular around 34 million euros. And you see the percent increase is around 4.5%. It's not bad. It's definitely not bad. And as reported by this Travel and Tourism World Council, is the source that I mentioned in my slide here. They every year, they elaborate a sort of report, okay, about tourism for all the countries, Italy in particular. So these data have been taken from the last report about Italy. And you see that the economic impact of the tourism industry is big, with 162 billion euros and with 2,500,000 people employed, okay, in tourism, considering hotels, transportations, bed and breakfast, accommodation, okay, more in general, or maybe tour guides. I'm a tour guide, okay, so, or maybe agencies and so on. So it's really an important business in Italy. But what is changing? Okay, what is changing in tourism? And this is, to be honest, what I've seen, and we talked about this several times in these big conferences and shows like in Milan, Berlin or New York. So the new tendencies about this tourism. So new tourists, they care of the planning of their own holidays, okay, so self-organization, I'm going to show you later. And they go on holiday more frequently, but for shorter periods. Remember the 3.6 days I was mentioning in the other earlier. And they follow social media. Think about the importance of Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, or TripAdvisor. TripAdvisor for all the agencies, but not only Rome and the world, and the whole world, is fundamental, is essential, definitely, as well as Facebook, I was mentioning, and Instagram in particular in this last period. And what is changing is now that they try to avoid the mass tourism. Maybe you have seen not only Rome but in other cities these enormous groups, made of 60, 70 people with just a little guide with a flag. Okay, the first one here, the others, in the other room. You know what I mean. The new tourists, they try to avoid, this type of tourism, and they prefer more personal, more intimate, more emotional experience. That is very nice because you can show them so many things, so local cuisine, or maybe the hidden gems I was mentioning. So this is what is changing, and I really appreciate this new trend. And because remember, they want to color their lives by traveling, so is something that is important and is changing. And they look for original arts, crafts, culture, places, and experiences. Oh, we can do a tourist identity too, like Sherlock Holmes, okay? And we have 3 important segmentation, of the demand. So first portion between 55, more or less 30, and 44, 45 years. And then another segmentation with the 44, 64, and then the senior, what we call the senior tourists. They love traveling. When retired, I met a lot of them. They're so cute. So interested and happy to be free to do whatever they want. Cruises or maybe just traveling and have fun. They're very nice people. And or maybe families. I met a lot of families with children. This is another new trend. So maybe the children, they travel with parents, and they strongly want to do the kids tours. So for example, another business that is growing up in Rome, but in other cities too, is the one of the kids tours. Focusing on the kids. So maybe shorter. Instead of 3 hours, 3 hours is a standard tour. You could do a 2 hours, 1 hours and a half, focus on the kids, very smart, very nice. They play like treasure hunts. It's very interesting. It's a business that could be very interesting from Holland too. And they travel frequently. We already talked about this, and they consider the environmental issues, high brand awareness, and they're interested in activities and other cultures, and they're following social media actively. This is very interesting. And they strongly love the self-organization, but they don't get lost. No, definitely. So they prefer to reserve, on their own, their airline transportation, or maybe they try to reserve online. So it's another type of tourist. Every day they're on the internet, they surf on the internet, and they know everything about new trends and the cheapest maybe airline company, and maybe they could compare the prices, but prices of tours and services, this type of services too. So this is why it's important when you decide to open, maybe an agency, but not only Rome, really in the rest of the world, it's important you focus on why you are different and what makes you unique in your business. Because everybody can do tours, but it's quite hard to find, good tours with good tourist guides. This is my personal opinion. And so I already mentioned they prefer the personal traveler. And new tourists means what? New tourism, guys. So they're more interested in health. For example, in Rome we have several spa No, they're becoming very famous. There is something unexpected, but they want to reserve maybe an afternoon at the spa. Why not? Or in a bath, a private bath. Wine and food. I'm a foodie. I do food tours in Rome, and they really appreciate it. Maybe, yes, next time in Rome, why not? We can taste together the famous Jewish start artichoke that is very good, or maybe other original Roman recipes. Yeah, they took a lot from the Jewish tradition, and so they really appreciate this type of experiences. I remember we were talking about the local. They want to feel like locals. That is very nice, and so they prefer a responsible tourism that is increasing, and a type of tourism that is known as cultural. Okay, cultural tourism, not this mass tourism we were talking about. That is completely different. So more local, more focusing on culture, tradition, local experiences with a local guide. And if or she and he, they speak good English, is much better. Okay, for them. And so the power of digital is, I'm sorry, is incredible, because they really love, this travel interpretation. And they, first of all, they go on internet, okay, when they're planning a tour. Okay, first of all, internet search. And they follow travel blogs or travel bloggers. It's very important. No, you get feedback from travel bloggers when you have a company like this, and or maybe friends in social media. We were mentioning Facebook or Twitter, and they love, internet, not just for surfing, but now to comment, to share photographs, or organizing travel, and affecting others' decision. So. Not only young population, but also middle-aged population are actively using internet. I think about my mama. She's starting using internet, so she could buy. This is very nice. And so a new tourism 2.0 that is made of 3 moments. Okay, and it's completely different. So we have a pre-experience. They listen to travel stories, and before traveling. They want to have a special experience during their stay or travel, and then the post-experience with comments, evaluation, and emotions. They love sharing pictures, maybe less picture at the Vatican. It is on Facebook. They could do it very quickly. And what about the perspectives? Definitely, our goal, one of the goals, is definitely to increase the tourist expenditure and length to stay. We were talking about, very often they only spend like 10 days in all the Italian boot. Yes, that is crazy, because they could, they have like a 3 days Rome. One of these 3 days is dedicated to Pompeii. So Pompeii, from Rome to Pompeii. Then I have 2 days Florence, and yes, Venice are the 2 or 3 days, okay? And that is their experience in Italy. But they miss a lot. So Rome is just Vatican, half day Colosseum, or maybe half day the highlights. The squares and the Pantheon. I don't know if you've ever been to Rome, the Pantheon, Trevi Fountain, and so on. But they miss a lot. This generally is the average stay is around 10 days. 7, 8, 10 days, always running. They're destroyed. In particular, if they arrive to Rome, that is the last stop of their trip, they're like, okay, what? Okay, yes, beautiful. It's beautiful, but please, okay, we are tired. Instead, they miss a lot. I'm gonna tell you what they could miss. For example, for the Jubilee, the itineraries we are thinking and promoting for this, in occasion of this Jubilee. And another thing we would like to increase is the expansion of the demand of tourism to 12 months. Okay, let me tell you this. I reveal you a little secret, a little trick. Rome is beautiful not only in July, August, and September. It's beautiful in March too, in April, October. November is fabulous because the city is empty. And you pay less for the hotels and the tours too, okay? Because that is considered the low season. So keep in your mind, because July is very hot. It's humid, hot, and the city is crowded. Think about this. March, April, October, fabulous months. And you can really enjoy your experience. But not only Rome, in other cities, Venice and Naples, or maybe Florence too. Yeah. And so increase the demand of different types of different kinds of tourism. Remember what I tell you: culture, health, city, youth, shopping. I do also shopping tours in Rome, shopping and artisans. Yeah, I organize. Yeah. Really appreciate it in the last couple of years. And so that is very important. Last but not the least, balance the distribution of tourism to Italy's different regions. Italy is not only Rome. It's not only Rome, it's not only Venice, it's not only Florence. Italy is made of 21 incredible and beautiful regions. I know a lot of you guys are from Italy, so you know what I mean. The little towns and spectacular villages is not only Rome. So our goal is to distribute this, the tourists to all the regions, not only maybe Latium or Piedmont or maybe Lombardia or from Tuscany. And what about Rome? But look at this picture, I really love it. It is very nice, this one. The great beauty. Rome is like this in this period. Isn't it fabulous? Bellissimo. The great beauty. What else? Really, the great beauty. The cradle of civilizations, and with a lot of hospitality and accommodation. We love people. And food and wine tradition, several activities, historical richness, but also natural wonders, on the coast with the beach that is lovely, and high quality facilities that are really appreciated by guests in the last period. The great beauty is also, the cradle of culture and city tourism, convention, shopping, youth, and religious. Religious stirrings, in particular with this last Jubilee. We were talking about the fact that it has been, it started last December the 8th. This is an extraordinary Jubilee because the Jubilees, they took place every 25 years, but this is an extraordinary Jubilee of mercy that has been proclaimed by the Pope Francis. And I really would like to start my brief description of the activities during the Jubilee with these beautiful words that have been pronounced by the Pope John Paul II. And he said, in occasion of the World Day of Tourism during the last Jubilee in 2000, if it is inspired by the Jubilee spirit, tourism can become a providential opportunity for meeting others and a valuable occasion for solidarity. This is very important. So the Jubilee is not only business, is a specific, a very interesting type of tourism. All the pilgrims visiting Rome, they're waiting to pass through the holy door. Not only one, the most important one is this one that you see in St. Peter's Basilica. This picture is representing the inauguration, of the Jubilee of Mercy. You see that the square was crowded, but not extremely crowded. Every Wednesday, when Pope Francis is in the middle of the square here for the weekly papal audience, we have around 100,000 people attending the papal audience. This was more or less around 60,000-70,000 people. So in the last Jubilee we had around 25 million people that visited Rome. This new Jubilee we were 33 million were expected, but at the moment they didn't arrive yet. So maybe probably this next month with the high season. And but of course the Jubilee is not only St. Peter's Basilica with the beautiful columns, designed by Gian Lorenzo Bernini, marvelous colonnades there, and the facade by Carlo Maderno. But the Jubilee is a special event when you see the Pope that is opening the door. You see, this is taken from the last Jubilee. I also picked this picture because you see Pope Francis, and he in the background, the Pope that resigned, Benedict, he has been the second one passing through the Holy Door. And St. Peter's in the Basilica Holy Door is the first one that is open, followed by, just a moment, oh, you see guys, that is not simply closed, I mean the door is not closed, it's sealed with bricks here. Yeah, they are removed just a few days before the opening, the beginning of the Jubilee, during this moment that is known as recognitio, so a sort of survey. Okay, we can translate it in English like this. Until a few years ago, they were closed from the outside, but then there was like an accident during the inauguration of one of the Jubilees, so they decided to close the backside, okay, of the door with these special bricks that are produced just for the Vatican, okay, so they're not common bricks. You find always on the top of them the crossing keys and the papal tiara that still today are the symbol, okay, of the Vatican city state. So they're special, very, very special, see. And until a few years ago was the Pope that opened, with a little brick. Now instead, they first remove the bricks during the survey, the recognition, and then the Pope has just to open, okay, just to open. And they remove at the end of the recognition all the, the documents, the special maybe coins that are placed at the end of the Jubilee when they close it. Yeah. No, it's a very interesting ritual. See. Okay.
How is the queue? Is it a very long queue?
Sì, definitely a long queue, because the pilgrims, they have special entrance, okay, to get directly to the door, to pass through the door, and then to visit St. Peter's Basilica. But yeah, it's a long line for the Vatican museums too, and at the Colosseum too, to be honest. But this is, the Easter week, so. But we have other 3 important doors in Rome. So, for example, this is the most popular itinerary, okay, during the Jubilee. 4 holy doors. The most important one is St. Peter's Basilica, because St. Peter is the place where the Apostle Peter, the first Pope, is buried. At the bottom, in the tomb. It is just in the middle, the bottom of St. Peter's Dome, designed by Michelangelo Buonarroti. And we have also St. Mary the Major, St. John the Baptist at the Lateran, and St. Paul outside the walls. Another martyrial basilica, dedicated to another martyr, an apostle that died because he wasn't free to profess his faith, St. Paul. So they're all very important, and one of the most popular, I was mentioning in the itinerary, is this one, okay, the 4 papal basilicas and the holy doors is a full day itinerary. Generally, we start with St. Peter's Basilica. Why? Because together with the Basilica, you could definitely visit also the Vatican museums and the Sistine Chapel. And as the Vatican museums are visited by 35,000 people per day, we always suggest a very early entrance at 7:38, so that you could enjoy the Basilica and then continue your experience as a pilgrims in the other churches. The Sistine Chapel like this is just a picture. Okay, Generally, it's definitely crowded and packed, but not in the early morning. So this is why generally we used to start from the Vatican. Otherwise, if you are maybe interested in another type of experience, as pilgrims, my suggestion is with the catacombs, okay, visiting the catacombs. I've been studying for 3 years at the Pontifical Institute for Christian Archaeology in Rome, and I visited all the 60 catacombs of Rome, and we had an exam, 1 catacomb, 1 exam. Okay, it was crazy. It was crazy, yeah. And only 6 of them are open today. The other one quite recently open is the one dedicated to Santi Marcellino e Pietro, that is more or less in this area here, okay, but has been quite recently reopened. These are the most popular, Domitilla San Callisto in particular, because San Callisto is the first one, the most ancient one, guys, with 20 kilometers of galleries split in several floors, I mean several layers. And my favorite one, to be honest, is Domitilla. This is Callisto. Okay, this is the crypt of the popes that are buried here, the first pope of the Christian community since the 1st and 2nd century AD. And this is me explaining. Instead Domitilla, a part of the Domitilla catacomb. That is a very nice experience because you really feel what the early Christians, they could feel in the past, and you see the first symbols of the Christianism, like the dove or the good shepherd or the anchor, for example. That is a very special experience, and to consider that 95% of all the tourists do not visit the underground. Instead, because if they stay only 3 days and a half, they have time just for the Vatican Colosseum highlights, and that's it. Instead, it could be nice maybe to increase this type of tours and experiences. So, what about the business opportunity? I think there are several opportunities in the growing tourism industry. A little suggestion if you are interested. This is the title here of the slide. This is the title of a book that I found on the internet, and you can download the ebook version. So should you be interested, please have a look, because maybe you can find a lot of incredible recommendations and suggestions. So, assuming that the tourist industry is expected to keep on growing and increasing its economic relevance, in particular in a very appealing country such as Italy, I try to explain you in very few words that Italy and Rome, they're great and beautiful. My suggestion about the business opportunities, in particular, my suggestion could be focus on the e-tourism, okay? Try to improve the customer experience, or think about the segmentation. Remember, we have seen 3 different parts, the different groups of tourists. Focus on the new technological tools, new apps, webs, mobile, to provide accessibility in tourism. And I've seen that the accessibility details, when reserving, they're really appreciated, okay, the facilities. And video sharing websites, yeah, definitely. If you share website, videos about the experience we were talking about, the fact that they really love sharing their experience during and after the trip, and in particular the e-commerce solution. So try to help this tourists in preparing and experiencing their travel in this incredible country that is Italy. So I want to thank you for your attention, because you have been really nice, and I hope you enjoyed this really brief lecture. And thank you for all. Please, I'm very sorry for my voice. I hope you don't mind and you could understand. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.